All right, welcome to this video. We're going to be talking about the letter M in EMOCAR, which stands for meaning. All these different events are going to happen, situations are going to come up. Now we're going to attach meaning to those because this is going to be the very beginning. How we start from here and go forward is going to be a big determinant in determining which way this is going to turn out for you as far as getting the kind of result that you're wanting. And so attaching the correct meaning, or at least the most optimal meaning for the situations that happen, is going to be the very first thing that we do. So let's take a look though at an example of people in the past who have attached meanings to situations, and you can see what happened to their life. We'll look at this guy here, Vincent van Gogh, right? We all know him, very famous artist, and over the years you can see his paintings have sold for a lot of money. However, during the course of his life, he doubted his own abilities. He could do a painting, and the meaning he would attach to it, of course, I'm just assuming, I don't know exactly, but it would seem that he didn't attach much meaning to his work because during his entire life, he only sold one painting. He even had a brother who was an art dealer. So he had a way of taking his work and actually getting it out into the market to sell. But because he lacked whatever it was, the meaning he attached to his work suppressed his ability to enjoy any kind of success or any kind of feedback from the actual work that he was doing. And we can see now that underneath all of that was a genius. Let's take a look at these guys. You may know them. These are the Manning brothers, Manning family. There's the dad, and then you have Peyton and Eli, which everyone knows are NFL quarterbacks and Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, and they're a household name. But their older brother here, his name is Cooper. Cooper also was going to become a football great. I mean, he was on his way to doing it. He even got a scholarship to go to college, but when he got there, he developed a weird feeling in his fingers. They went to go check it out, and actually he has spinal stenosis. And so they told him, you can't do football. It's unhealthy. I mean, it's very dangerous if you were to keep playing. And so he decided to not do football. See, you can look at the pedigree he comes from. He could have been probably a really great quarterback, but that really wasn't in the cards for him. He actually then did something else. He went off into business, and he's married, kids. It's a very successful life. And he says he's very happy. I mean, the USA Today did an interview with him, and he doesn't hold this detour in his career away from football to something else. He didn't see that as something bad. Now, I'm going to assume at the moment it probably felt pretty bad for him because here his hopes and dreams were dashed, and now he's going to have to do something else. But you see, here's an example of somebody who attached a different meaning. He was dealt a bad hand, if you want to call it a bad hand, and at least something he wasn't expecting. And now he actually turned it and went somewhere else. And he says he's having fun doing it. And so he can take a situation and attach a different meaning to it. So both of these situations, and what you're going to look at whenever you're running into one of yours, is you're going to look at meaning. And meaning is going to be when you look at your beliefs and you compare it to the reality of what you're dealing with. For example, if I were to kind of get into this more deeply, if you want to look at meaning, different words for that are all of these right here: conclusion, judgment, assessment, stuff like that. Beliefs. This is how we think life should be. This is how it should, this is the way things ought to be. Our different rules for how things are supposed to go. Our assumptions, our values, and even our own identity kind of shape what we think of our beliefs. And then the reality, well, that is the situation. That is what we're dealing with. That is the facts, it's the circumstances, it's the life condition. Okay? So when you are trying to attach a meaning, you're going to be trying to look at this reality and compare it to your beliefs. And from that, that's where you can get your meaning. Here's the thing, though. You are in complete control of your beliefs. You created the beliefs. All the beliefs you have right now, that is what you created. It was your own way of doing things. It's how you've navigated and made sense of the world. And so you've developed your own beliefs. But they are your creation. And because of that, because of this equation, if you will, that means that the meaning that you are going to attach to a situation is going to come from the beliefs, which means you are in control of this whole thing. You don't control this, but you completely control that. So, knowing that, and knowing that you can have a more empowering way of moving forward in things, you have to always be questioning or looking at your beliefs to see, do they really serve you well? So, when a bad thing happens, okay, let's imagine going back to the, Cooper Manning. When you get the news that you can't do what you want to do anymore, when life throws you this curveball and you just basically have to put a stop to what you were wanting to do, It's okay, I say, to have your freak out moment, to be upset, to be frustrated. Again, this is the emotional part of emo car. This is all the different things, all of the sequence of going through. We said at the beginning, you're going to have the emotional component of it. Well, part of the emotion is you can be frustrated, angry, upset, sad even about the different things that happen in your life. And that's fine. Express those. You need to experience those. But then stop. What I mean by stop is don't keep spinning. Don't keep in that thing with your pity party. Don't keep rehearsing and retelling the story of about how things are unjust. Just have to accept what they are and now maybe modify your belief to then get a better outcome. So when your beliefs run into a problem with reality and the two just don't seem to make sense or it isn't what you thought things were going to be, instead, once you have your moment of freak out, then I said stop, and then at that moment, become curious. This is where you need to start asking questions, not doubting things, just asking a question. And the very simple question is this: where's the opportunity here? If you take a look at the situation you're dealt with and you start asking a more empowering question, like where is the opportunity here, your mind will start creating ways that you can take this situation, that sometimes you can't do anything about, and you can direct it towards something else that is going to be better for you and for those around you. So ask this question. This is the first part of this whole situation, is asking this question. It's going to start deriving a better meaning from it. Now, when you ask this question, where's the opportunity? It kind of balances your experience. Like I said, your freak out thing, that's fine. If you stay over there, of course, you're going to be left in just nothing but sorrow. If you go the other direction, and if you just kind of always want to just look at the bright side and try to ignore the bad, well, you can imagine that is unsustainable to have stuff repressed like that. You can think of it this way. You can't spend all your time there. You can't spend all the time there. But if you ask, where's the opportunity? It gives you a chance to kind of level that out and get a more balanced view of what you're going to be dealing with going forward. So in this first part, remember, in the emo car acronym, event, it's what happened, the situation. We're going to be going through 1, 2, 3, 4 different items. This is the first of 4. Asking, where's the opportunity here? That's the very first thing you need to do when you're kind of coming to the end of this sequence of deriving meaning before we move into the next one called options. Let's finish, though, with this quick story about Sara Blakely. Now, she is the owner of Spanx, which is a very successful company, and she actually became a billionaire from this whole thing. But if you take a look at her life, again, I don't know her, and I hope to meet her someday because I could ask her some of these questions. But when she was young, she wanted to go to law school. That was her idea. But she didn't score high enough, and so she didn't actually apply, didn't even go try to get into law school. She could have taken that entrance exam score and attached the meaning of it of, oh, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough. And she could have went and did that and just kind of went about her life and just had a real quiet existence. But she didn't. She kind of went another direction. She ended up going and selling fax machines door to door in Florida. And part of the dress code when you're doing that is that you have to wear, ladies had to wear pantyhose. Well, the problem is it's very hot, it's very humid, wasn't very comfortable. And so she liked the look, I guess, the pantyhose, but she decided to cut the feet off of them so that she could make it more functional to what she was doing in her daily life. Well, she thought this was a great idea. She thought this could be a business. So she, having no background in retail, nothing to do with manufacturing, doesn't know anything, about the hosiery business, she took this idea and actually went out to where they actually make pantyhose. And she said, listen, I have this idea. You can make pantyhose with this modification. And every place she went to, they all told her no. They all said, that's not going to work. Now, again, she could have attached a different meaning to that, okay? She could have said, oh, well, what do I know about this stuff? I'm just going to go back and selling fax machines. No, she instead kept at it, okay? And every time I guess she turned down, I'm just speculating, she probably understood a little bit more and changed her pitch and made it better until finally one guy who told her no initially went home, talked to his daughters about this. Sara Blakely came into the office and had this new invention of this new modified pantyhose. And this guy happens to have 3 daughters. And they all said, you know what, Dad, that's a really good idea. You should do that. So he turned back around, contacted Sara, and before you know it, they started making this. And, the rest is history, as they say. So she had different events that happened along her life. And she took those different setbacks, those different no's, those different no, I don't think that's going to work. she was able to take that and attach different meaning to it and move forward. She didn't take it personally as a rejection of herself that she couldn't do something. She instead attached a different, more empowering meaning that kind of kept her going forward. And as a result, she is now the owner and the founder of Spanx and is a billionaire from all of that. So when we're putting together your meaning, again, just know the sky is the limit. It's just a matter of what kind of meaning you're going to attach. Now, as we go through these different videos, I do want to give credit to all of these different people here who I've read through or taken their courses or read their books or attended their workshops, and I can tell you that these guys are all very good at describing this kind of concept in more detail. What I'm providing for you here is kind of like a summary of it. You could spend hours upon hours reading through all of this stuff, which is, I find, very interesting. And so you may want to do this yourself to kind of give these people credit and to take an idea further of what it is that, how you can better navigate your life. These are great, great resources. So anyways, that wraps up meaning. The next one we're going to be moving on to is options.